An Air Force veteran living out of his car has been in jail for a month, all for having legally owned firearms in his car when he was pulled over for a traffic stop. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If the opener on this video sounds absurd, it's because it is, but in my former state of Massachusetts, it is par for the course. Right off the bat, before we dive into this story, this video is brought to you with the help of Blackout Coffee Company. Blackout is a Florida-based coffee roaster that has strong roots in supporting Second Amendment rights, veterans, and traditional values. They support channels like mine and have dedicated partner roasts that raise money for GOA, FPC, and the Second Amendment Foundation. They've even got tea, hot chocolate, or now instant coffee if that's more your jam. So to get a cup of coffee that you can be proud of and help support the channel, go to blackoutcoffee.com/LibertyDoll, and as a bonus, you can use code LibertyDoll for a one-time 20% discount. Alright gang, so this story played out in Gardner, which is a tiny little town in central Mass that coincidentally I used to hang out in and go to dinky punk shows in. Interesting. Considering I'm pretty sure that most of the surrounding towns are all in the same zip code and there's nothing to do there, I can't imagine that the cops are typically very busy. But one did stop 51-year-old Air Force veteran Kyle Kalutta around 9 a.m. on June 24th for failing to yield on Timpani Boulevard on what the arrest report says is Donlin Ave, which is not actually a street according to Google Maps. There is an intersection of Timpani and Don Land Street, which is near the Rotary, which is what the rest of the country calls a roundabout. Either way, according to the report, the officer ran the Massachusetts plates and found that the vehicle was not covered by insurance, which is a big no-no there. The cop then pulled him over. Kalutta handed over an Arizona driver's license, but did not have a registration. The vehicle actually belonged to his fiancée, Sorand Jackson, who was in the passenger seat. She told the officer that she had had paperwork issues, that they'd just arrived in state to be closer to family the day before, and had no money, so they were doing DoorDash to raise some funds. The pair were homeless. The cop told them that he wouldn't allow them to drive away and was going to seize the vehicle because of the revoked insurance, which was super compassionate of him. He then decided that because Jackson appeared to be in a state of shock and Kalutta was, quote, sweating and uneasy, that he would search the vehicle. At that point, he walked over while they were trying to gather their things and found some empty shells and an ammo can. The cop then asked what it was, and Kalutta answered that it was his ammo, and the cop asked if he had any weapons. Kalutta responded that he did and that he was carrying a Glock in his right pocket. He said he was only carrying it because the officer had just told him to get his things, so he slipped it in his pocket. The cop demanded his license to carry, and Kalutta responded that he didn't have one. Arizona is a constitutional carry state, after all, and Kalutta had only arrived to Massachusetts the day before. The cop handcuffed him, called for backup, and he was arrested for possession of a large-capacity firearm and possession of a firearm without a license. During the search, the cops found 3 handguns, 5 rifles, and, quote, a fully stocked military-style ammo case, which apparently makes it an especially dangerous ammo case. Now, granted, we don't know how any of those other firearms were stored, but there is nothing in the arrest report saying that they were unsecured. Now, Mr. Kalutta is being held in jail under the state's dangerousness law, which allows them to hold citizens without bail for up to 120 days for mere possession of a gun without a license. This is despite him not actually being officially found dangerous by the state, at least not yet. The motion for pretrial detention requests that he be held until a final hearing, whenever that might be, and that motion was granted. He has no criminal record, no known record of mental illness, and is a veteran with an honorable discharge. The only legal issue that I could find under his name at all, except this, is an eviction hearing from October 2024 in Maricopa County, which looks like it required the couple to pay about $2,000 by December and leave the property. Either way, just a few miles north in New Hampshire, Kalutta would have only been charged with having an unregistered vehicle. Especially with the couple only arriving the day before, the cop could have very easily told them what they needed to do to get the proper paperwork, as the state used to have a grace period for new residents, though I'm not sure if that still stands. With Maura Healey at the helm up there, probably not. Unfortunately, ignorance of the law is not considered an excuse, even with Massachusetts' convoluted set of laws that are pretty draconian and some of the worst in the country. Nonetheless, after being contacted by Jackson, Gun Owners Action League is on the case and seeing if there's anything they could possibly do with a good enough lawyer. Seeing as I have personally seen people with pretty solid Second Amendment cases get literally laughed out of court in Massachusetts, I don't have much hope. Still, they're also looking at amending the statute that is allowing Coletta to be held. That statute basically says that anyone with a large capacity feeding device goes straight to jail, do not pass go, do not collect $200. The man is now facing a mandatory minimum of 10 years in prison. And every time I hear a story like this, I am more and more glad that I got out of that hellhole of a state. So that is it for this video, guys. You know the drill. For all of the algorithm things, please do them. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there and happy shooting. And for anyone who missed the video announcement or the announcement over on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, I will be at the Goals event in Knoxville, Tennessee. Not this weekend, but next weekend. And I will be doing a panel on 2A activism. So hopefully I'll see you guys there.